Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we just had Saturday Night Main Event. I guess this is what like the third one so far in this set. I feel like there should be better numbering systems, so like we at least can like refer to it. I guess it's the one that's in Tampa Bay, like Main Event Tampa Bay. I don't know. We'll figure out something, but yeah, this was a show. I guess is the best way of saying it. I mean, we're obviously going to go from match to match, but I don't know if I'm liking these Saturday Night Main Events as much as I thought I would. I kind of not expected a lot of stuff to happen, but I also expected like just to have like an extension of seeing people that we don't get to see all the time, kind of have a grander stage. But it didn't feel like any of that really worked out here. So let's just jump into it. So we started off with Sami Zayn, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. The match itself, I thought honestly was pretty decent for who was in it. I kind of figured Braun Breaker would have a little bit more screen time and more shine time, but he didn't get that as much. Seth Rollins didn't look predominantly dangerous or anything. I think they kind of did that because they were going to have that third man join in. Um, but I feel like the match was still pretty competent to be on the card. I would put it in B. Wasn't anything too crazy. I think it was solid. Anything I put in the B, I'm like, yeah, this deserved to be on the card. Obviously, with the reveal of the third man of his team, I think made it definitely worth to be on that card no matter what. But yeah, Bronson Reed being his third man doesn't make a lot of logical sense to story, as Bronson Reed was on the opposite side of everything. Um, it's a little odd. I guess he was Bloodline adjacent for a little bit too with the whole Survivor Series match. That's the biggest I think thing that could happen is that Bronson Reed was on the opposite side, but he did put Seth Rollins out for a little bit, so I guess bygones be bygones. But I don't know. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed as a tag team would be pretty fire. Braun and Braun. I think altogether, I'm like 50-50 on this. I'm putting it at B. We'll see how it kind of translates the next time we get to Raw and see what they say about it. I'm cautiously optimistic it's going to be okay. I just felt like Braun Breaker was more of the muscle, and it feels like now it's just two muscly bodyguard type things for Seth Rollins, and maybe that's the kind of vibe they're going for. I haven't really peg down what this group is going to be. Obviously, we were waiting for that third member to kind of figure it out, so I guess we'll see what happens there. Next up, we had the only women's card of the match. It was the U.S. title championship versus Lena Vega versus Chelsea Green. Um, there was a lot of tragedy in this match. I mean, that 619 that Selena messed up was really bad. For being something like a signature and seeing that there was really nothing that seemed like it would be the reason why she'd be so far off of being bad on that is it's kind of crazy. The ending was kind of hokey with Chelsea Green's Secret Herbis just celebrating, and that's the reason they didn't break up the pin or pay attention. Just kind of seemed weird because it wasn't like Chelsea Green was even in a spot that she was kind of ahead. So I feel like there was a lot that could have been changed there. Honestly, I think I'd have to put this in D. It's a pretty bad match. I feel like they definitely could have done something different. I don't mind Zelina Vega as champion. I feel like they definitely need to give her an opponent that she can manhandle a little bit better, like a very small opponent, but I don't think this is gonna be that way. I think this is her defense, and I would not be surprised if somebody takes that title off of her the very next moment that she has a feud. So I'd put this in D. Not really my thing. Next up, it was R-Truth versus John Cena. Now, this is a weird match because it really didn't have much of like actual wrestling in it. I think the whole thing of Ron, I was gonna say Ron, but R-Truth coming down as Ron Cena and showing off to the crowd as John Cena, I thought was a very good spot. That itself made the least the match entertaining. Everything else after that was a little rough. Obviously, Cena hesitated to hit him with the belt. I don't know if that's him hesitating in general, but seeing how the rest of the card goes, I would say probably not. I feel like this would probably go into C. I think it's just entertaining enough from the entrance to be in there. I feel like I'm really stretching on this to make it as best as it can be, but man, I really did not like this show, as you can see. Next up, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. I feel like the wrestling itself was not the worst. The walking out of the steel cage on a grudge match, final blood and gore and everything that they've been doing to each other to just walk out is a wild fin. It should have been a Hell in the Cell, so the fin would have been closed, and it should have been, like either get knocked or last man standing match would have probably been better. Um, Anything would have been just better than this. I honestly have to put this in D. It's just because at least in my brain to try to make this card as better than it has to be, which is struggling to do. At least with the John Cena and R-Truth, it's a match that I wanted to see on Cena's way out just because of their history, and I liked the entertainment value of the match. That is the only reason why that's not also in the D. The same thing goes with the Priest and Drew match. Like there was a lot of story going into it. We knew this was going to be the ending, and it just ended on a whimper for no reason, and nobody looked good. He just kind of smashed in Drew's head for that was brutal. And that's pretty much why I didn't create a whole F category for this. But that is the whole highlight of the match. There wasn't really much else. It was pretty just two guys stumbling around. They really didn't have much of anything going on. Then we get to the main event. Right before the main event, we had John Cena talk to Jay, talking about how it'd be crazy if a YouTuber had the other title when he left, and yeah, kind of hinted that he was going to do something, which eventually he does in this match. John Cena comes down, tries to cost Jay the match. I thought it's a nice little touch. I don't know if Logan Paul is going to be like part of John Cena's faction or whatever it is. Um, Honestly, not too against it, but it's whatever. I don't think John Cena really needs that. I think everybody tried to build him up that way. Like if it wasn't going to be The Rock, then it really doesn't need to happen. There really doesn't need to be that. This match really didn't get much of anything. It was all overshadowed by all that, and then with Cody returning to save Jay, and then setting up a match for them at Money in the Bank, I think that just kind of destroyed anything of what this whole match was about. Like there's just no point to it. I mean, obviously, we're gonna get another match, and we're gonna get something at Money in the Bank, which will be kind of cool. I like the idea of that match. I feel like that's a pretty solid match to put in Money in the Bank because obviously you don't want like championship matches as much, but you still want like high quality and having the world heavyweight champion versus the WWE champion, which maybe um, Jay might not be in that position by then. I think is kind of cool. Plus, I mean, I don't really want the men's bank to be cashed in, but that is one hell of a match to cash in on. You got double champions there. I don't even know how that would work, if there's even a way that that works, but I think it's pretty cool. So I think yeah, all of that being the kind of side tangent to just try to circle back to this match. I don't think it did anything. I think it really had just kind of hurt Jay. Both title defenses that he had, I think, just made Jay look terrible. And that's kind of the crazy part because, like, I felt like they were actually really doing stuff with Jay's storyline that made him look like he wasn't an interim champion. And then when he gets that title defenses, it's just bad. I'm putting this down in D. I think I'd put the whole thing in D, even though some of the other stuff was okay. I didn't enjoy it. It was an hour and a half. It was just not it for me. A lot of commercials. I could have easily skipped this, which I don't like skipping anything in WWE, but I could easily skip this and I would have been perfectly happy, especially if I saw that first match because that was all I was counting on. Like I had watched it, or like I was late to watching it because we were hanging out with some friends and I turned it on late, so I had been staying off X and all that type of stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just make sure I stay off of it because that first match, like, that's gonna have a spoiler. And after I found that out, I just was like, okay, well, I guess I could be on my phone for the rest of this card because really nothing else is gonna change. And the John Cena Cody Rhodes fin at the end was fun, but I feel like they could have done something different. They could have had John Cena trying to beat the crap out of R-Truth, and then Cody Rhodes comes in for the save. Wouldn't set up the tag, but I think we could still get there. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been Japan. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I do daily wrestling content and a little bit of WNBA stuff right now. So if you like either one of those, this is a nice home for that. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.